And we are live. It is hashtag Friday Potty. I'm sure everybody by this time knows exactly what day it is. I am not wearing a sleeved Wolf for Finance shirt today, and I won't be wearing one most likely on the pre-send stream either. And I likely won't be wearing any type of sleeves on the around the blockchain that I'm going on. I go on around the blockchain at 3 p.m. Eastern today, which is in 2 hours exactly. So whenever you're watching this, whatever time it is, it's 2 hours from now. So I do go on around the blockchain on the ATB channel. It's still a little bit hot in my house. We just got the AC fixed, but we're letting it catch up. So essentially what's going to happen now is eventually I'm going to be able to wear regular clothes on the stream again. And I will have my background out of here or back within probably the next week. And I know I've been saying that, but my goal is to actually have this gold course for verified investing 100% filmed by the end of this coming up next week. So I should have it all done by Friday, which is great. So if you haven't been watching the gold markets, might be time to take a little bit of notice of the gold markets. Just saying. And I know Larry over on the pre-send stream will echo that sentiment as well. But with all that said, if you're here from the future, hello from the past, we appreciate you for showing up. Make sure you smash the like button on your way in, and at the very least, smash it on your way out. You can always revoke it later if I say something you don't like. And obviously, comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. But make sure before you do that, you subscribe and then boom, bang on that notification bell, because we're going to be starting content again. I've been doing the majority of the filming for the gold course, obviously. Don't want to mess all my stuff up while I'm doing that, but I am almost done with that. Literally, I have 1.5 sections left to film of a 6-section course. So it should be good. Yeah. Now, we are going to talk about Burl Core. We are going to talk about the markets. We are going to talk about the claiming dashboard. Just spoiler alert on claiming dash. Well, spoiler alert on all of that. Markets are starting to recover. I would not necessarily think that the sun is coming out, right? It's just, there can be further downside, and obviously I am of the bias that I don't think anything substantial or meaningful is going to happen until after the election is over. Spoiler alert on Burl Core. Burl Core sucks. That's that. That's my opinion on Burl Core. You guys suck. And at least you suck at delivering on any type of actual time frame that makes feasible sense. And then spoiler alert on the claiming dashboard, go ahead and use it if you haven't already. But that's not to say that there's other available funds in there. It's to say that if you were one of the people in the Discord that was yo, I came in here to try to claim my first, dividend that we put in there a couple months ago, and you hadn't, and you were trying to claim it, and there was a problem, it was because we migrated it to a new server. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But let's get to the news really quick, and let's talk about what's going on in this market, man, because there's some wild stuff. Yeah. Sometimes, in some places we're having a really good time, some places we're not having such a good time. But the Wolf Finance portfolio actually is not doing bad, to be honest with you. So share the screen. This is the wrong screen. My bad. Stop sharing. Present. Share the real screen. Where's it at? Here it is. All right, cool. Boom. Okay, so as you can see, nothing's happening on the screen, right? Scroll down. Bitcoin and cryptos rise after the Fed cuts rates by 0.5 percentage point. Okay, now this is my public service announcement to people, okay? This is when rates come down, okay? When rates come down, speculative assets are usually going to go up, okay? Now we hit almost 64. Now we're back down to 62.8. Sometimes these things will be short-lived, all right? Now, I want to make this abundantly clear, all right? Let me see if anybody's even in the Discord. They're not. I'm exiting out. Peace. Everybody's on the stream. Now, well, that unfortunately doesn't have any bearing on whether or not I'm going to wear my blue light glasses or whether I'm going to wear a pink Nike tank top. And if you can't wear a pink Nike tank top in Florida, where can you wear it? Now, here's my public service announcement to people. Speculation assets, right? We're talking Bitcoin. We're talking just any other cryptocurrencies for that matter. Secondarily, stocks, even gold isn't really a speculative asset. It's a safe haven asset. Okay. When interest rates go down, okay, that's when people start taking their money out of the bank and they're putting it into these other assets. Because why are they putting their money into the bank and saying like, okay, I'll take their BS interest rate for a while, right? Because the interest rate's high enough that they can actually maybe make some money off it. Now, do they realize that they're going to get outpaced by inflation? No, most people don't. It is what it is. So we're not even going to touch on that point of it. But my point is that as soon as this starts happening, right? As soon as all of this starts happening and you see those interest rates going down, you'll see these assets starting to go up a little bit, like gold, crypto, whatever it may be. The reason is because people are looking at it as, well, why would I keep my money in the bank and get this BS like interest rate when most likely over the next year, crypto is going to go up more than 7% or gold's going to be able to pump more than 7%. So I'd rather have my money there, right? So that's essentially what is happening whenever you see these markets start to pump after those rate cuts come in, right? Now, secondarily, I don't think we're going to see any big leg up, right? Until we get this, dude, this election has to go down. Right? This election has to commence. In my opinion, Trump has to get in, right? And that's that. Then you can see a meaningful move upwards on a potential bull run. So I don't see, and I'm going to stick to that stance until I am proven wrong. But I'm continually, seems like almost weekly, I'm being proven right on that. And it's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. And there's nothing that we can do about it. You know, there's larger global forces that are happening that, you know, don't have anything to do with us, man. And, that's that. One thing that I did think was pretty cool was that Louisiana, which is a state in the United States, for people that don't know what Louisiana is, New Orleans is in Louisiana. So everybody knows New Orleans, like kind of like the, you know, whatever, like the voodoo capital. You know, everybody knows it as like one of the southern, like, I don't know, like one of the cities that we like in the South that everybody seems to know, like Miami, New Orleans, you know, Dallas, places like that, like everybody knows them. So that's where Louisiana, New Orleans is inside of Louisiana. So that's probably what you know Louisiana from. Now, they did take their first cryptocurrency payment, as in the state government of Louisiana took their first cryptocurrency payment. And I believe it was the, what's it called? The fishing and something people. Yeah, wildlife and fishing department took their first payment in cryptocurrency, which I think is a huge step forward for crypto, just globally adopting it, or at the very least in a nation, like us adopting it as a nation. I think this is a great step and a great look for us. Do I think that that's going to like necessarily pump crypto massively right now? Not necessarily, but I think a lot of these, we'll call them like government agencies or just businesses that are accepting crypto. A lot of times they're not necessarily accepting crypto in the way that we're used to transacting in crypto, which is like, I'm going to send you Bitcoin. Usually it's like through a crypto debit card or something like that, or a debit card that's hooked up in crypto. But this apparently was supposedly, you know, a actual crypto transaction that happened. So, you know, take that for what it is, man. Take that for what it is, men and women, because we love our crypto queens. Now, another thing, this is just stuff that you have to pay attention to. And I just accidentally hit the wrong button. So I got to wait for this stupid page to load. But give me 1 second. Bing, bang, boom. All right, it's up. Now, DeFi does not mean that you are like shielded from regulators. Okay. It does not mean jack at all. All right. So the SEC just charged this platform. I think it was called like Rari Capital or something like that. They had over $1 billion in assets at one point. They just filed some securities charges saying that they were acting as an unregistered broker on Rari Capital. And basically what you come down here and see, here's exactly what they said. I'm just going to quote them. So what Monique Winkler said, the director of the SEC's San Francisco office, right? We allege that Rari Capital and its co-founders misled investors about both the features and profitability of certain of the crypto asset investments Rari Capital offered and acted as an unregistered broker. All right. We will not be deterred by someone labeling a product as decentralized or autonomous. It does not matter, but instead we'll look beyond the labels to the economic realities, as we did here, and hold the individuals behind the crypto products and platforms accountable when they harm investors and violate the federal securities laws. Boom. That's it. So that's kind of like my public service announcement. So all of these platforms, they're all saying like, oh, we're decentralized. Oh, we're tax. Be that as it is. Okay. That doesn't actually do anything if you're doing the same thing that centralized platforms are doing, offering the same products and instruments that centralized platforms are doing. And those platforms are governed by the SEC or some other regulatory agency outside of the United States in another jurisdiction. So although that's great, and it's a really good thing to like add to your checklist or whatever, that, you know, doesn't stop any of this stuff from happening. Also doesn't stop people from getting scammed. Also doesn't stop people from getting rug pulled. Also doesn't stop people from just bare minimum losing money, right? So my point is like, when you're using platforms, when you're investing in coins, when you're investing in projects and people, make sure you're investing in the right ones. I mean, I literally know of a pretty decent sized crypto project right now that is going to get a massive surprise because they are literally being investigated by authorities and they don't know it. And the only reason I know it is because I received some information from somebody that might have known a little something about it. I'm not going to name any names or name the project, but I have covered them on my channel. I have called them out on my channel, calling them a scam. Or maybe not a scam, or saying that I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was I said about them, but I know a lot of people were outraged and I was just like, dude, you guys have fun operating while you can, man. Have fun operating while you can, because I know who's coming for you in the background. And the SEC and these regulators, man, they're not going to tell you first off that they're coming after you until they've built the case. All right. They're methodical with the way that they do things. They are going to literally look into you, find everything they can, find informants, go through all the financial statements, do everything that you can think of. And on the blockchain, most things are trackable anyway. So once they find it, they find it. And then they'll do forensics, and then they will look into all the people that are behind it. They'll find everybody that's involved. They'll find whistleblowers. And then they'll come to you with an enforcement action, or they'll just charge you criminally, right? For fraud or whatever it may be. But a lot of times it's going to be people running an unregistered or unregulated fund or hedge fund or whatever it may be, or an unregistered brokerage, things of that sort. So just trust and believe. Once you get to a certain level, they're looking at you. It does not matter if you're decentralized. It does not matter if your creators are anonymous. Dude, they're going to find you. Okay. You think that you're anonymous. You're not. That's why I never even bothered with any of that anonymous stuff. And I don't care about it, because at the end of the day, if they want to know who you are, they'll find out who you are. There's way smarter people out here than you, like whoever these anonymous creators and devs are. Like, if you legitimately want to not ever be found, don't ever get on the grid. Never connect to the internet. But no one does that. So of course, you're going to get found. And, that's just that. I just saw a video the other day of this guy. He can take a picture of you. He can run your thing through a database and it'll find every picture of you on the internet and give you a web link to where it's at. It's crazy. Then we just got these guys that just Jonathan Arve convicted for operating illegal gambling in a network in an illegal gambling network in Colorado. So this is online gambling as well, right? So the FBI, literally the special agents, charge Mark Mikulik, the special agent in charge. I'm going to botch his name, Mark Mikulik or whatever his name is. The defense said that the defendant's gambling operations were extensive and involved fraud and money laundering. No way, gambling involving fraud and money laundering. That's wild. And yeah, these guys like are literally probably going to go to jail. So this was on bitcoinnews.com. So if you want to go and see what this is about, they were literally, it's alleged that they ran an illegal gambling operation and that they were using fake crypto while they were doing it. So like, I say all of these things not because it's like funny, because I know people are losing money and people are getting screwed over. It's to like remind you to stay vigilant, especially when we're on the cusp of a potential bull run that could happen within the next 3, 4, 5 months, right? Election's coming up in November. We're in September, okay? So just keep your mind sharp, be vigilant. You've seen it. If you've been on my channel for long enough, you've probably been through a couple of cycles of this like nonsense, right? Especially if you've been here from 2017. 2017 was like ICO craze. Everybody got wrecked. Then you had like 2021, where it's like the fake nodes, the fake miners, now we're going to have all the fake AI stuff, all the fake gambling stuff, all the fake gaming stuff. You're going to find all this stuff all over again. It's just going to have a different face on it, right? It's going to have a mask. So, scammers are really good at what they do, and they'll figure out how to scam you. That's 100% for sure. So, they're very ingenious in that sense. So just make sure you're staying vigilant. Now, let's talk about, what should we talk about first? Okay, let's just talk about Wolfer stuff. Then we'll get to Burl Core because I don't really feel like going off on a tangent on Burl Core because I know I did that last week. Now, okay, Wolfer stuff. All right. I know that the markets are kind of wrecked, okay? But if you look, AVAX is at like $27 or something like that. We bought our AVAX at $15. Wolfer did. We run a validator. We've been running it, right? That's just how it is. So our AVAX is still almost 2x, even though it's wrecked, comparatively to where it was a while back. FTM is at like 60 some odd cents. We bought our FTM at like 21, 23 cents. It's like at like a 3x for us. Flux, it's above 60 cents. We bought it at like 45 cents. We're at like 100. We're at like a 50% profit on Flux. ETH is at like 2,500 right now. 2,500, baby, the 2,500. We bought it at $1,100, like 1,150. We're at like over 2.5x on Flux, or not on Flux, on ETH almost, right? Like our portfolio is fine. Okay. And our nodes are running 24/7, 365. We are integral. We are blockchain infrastructure. That is required collateral that we've put up to run that blockchain infrastructure. Make sure FTM's still going, make sure ETH's still going, make sure AVAX still going, make sure Flux is running, bing, bang, boom, right? We're not selling any of our rewards that we're bringing in. We're stacking them things. Okay. Why would you, and this is like, I know like some people are going to agree with this, some people aren't. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. That's your opinion. That's perfectly fine. I'm the one that's going to make the decision, and I get that. And I put that responsibility on me for a reason, and other people put that responsibility on me, right? So we're not selling our rewards, right? We're not selling the rewards until that market turns around. Why? Because first off, we can afford to pay our bills. All right. We have enough cash, a little bit of cash on the sidelines to be able to afford to pay our bills for the next 6 or 8 months if we have to, right? We run lean. We have like servers, we have website and email hosting, and then we have like accounting. That's it. That's not a lot of money that we have to spend every month. So my point is like, we're going to get rid of that depreciating asset, USD, that we already have a little bit on the sidelines, right? And that's why we keep it to just in case for these exact scenarios. That way we can be opportunistic whenever we need to be. And we're not going to sell off our AVAX at $27. We're not going to sell off our FTM at 61 cents. We're not going to sell off our Flux at 60 cents. We're not going to sell off our ETH at $2,500 when here in maybe 3 months, actually, I wouldn't even say it's going to be 3 months. We're 2 months away from the election, and then we're like 3-4 months away from it being a president-elect and actually taking office at the end of January or whatever. Dude, if everything goes the way that everybody thinks it's going to go, most likely, then I don't know, man. Like, I don't think it makes any sense to sell our rewards down here whenever they could be worth 4x and we just stack them and then say that you're making, I don't know, call it 5. We'll just make it easy. Say you're making $5,000 a month if you were to sell everything right now. But then in 4 months from now, you've stacked, $5,000 worth of rewards at the time times 4, but those rewards are worth 4x. And now you're making $20,000 a month because you sell them at the right time, because now those same rewards that you've been stacking that were worth 5K are worth 20K because everything 4X's, right? I'm not saying everything is going to 4X. I'm saying like on average, right? Say if you like Avalanche does a 7X, and then ETH does a 2X, and then FTM does a 5X, and Flux does a 3X, right? And it averages out to where it's like a 4X. And I'm not guaranteeing there's going to be a 4X. I'm giving a scenario, right? Why would we sell here? We wouldn't. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to keep stacking those and holding them until that gets where we want it to be. All right. And our portfolio is still in a great place at the end of the day. We're up on every single position. We're up. And most of them, we're up big, right? So, I mean, it would have been great bringing a bunch of money in the crowdfund and then buy that bottom. Oh, dude, we long term, we'd be killing it. Absolutely murdering it. And like, I think people would have been really surprised. But I think some people aren't going to like that. And I think people will thank me later whenever they're like, oh, yeah, it's a good thing that you held those rewards because now they're worth 3X, right? And then we, do that and distribute out dividends. Great. Works out for everybody. And I like it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Claiming dashboard. I know people were trying to like access it and they were like, oh, I can't get past the first page. It's because we migrated to a new server. Okay. And now we have retied back in. We didn't know that actually happened until somebody brought it up, because why do we have this massive server, right? At first we had the massive server because we were like, oh, this thing's going to get loaded, right? Because there's like 1,100 people that could be claiming all at the same time, but it didn't, right? And so now we realized like, okay, our server is like way bigger than what we needed. So we migrated to a new server that is less expensive, right? And boom. So that happened. So now anyways, go, if you haven't claimed your first dividends or whatever, feel free to go claim them. Then we've got Burl Core, right? Dude. These guys, man. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't make this stuff up. I'm just going to read a couple of questions from their own Discord. So, don't shoot the messenger. I'm literally just reading what people are asking you inside of your own Discord, Burl Core. Bildo. Yeah, it's a play on words. Okay. Hey, Charles and Akello, the guys that are supposed to be the representatives of Burl Core, right? This is a person saying this inside of their Discord. Following up for day 3 now without a response to the same exact question. Can we please prioritize answers to these? What happened to the private funds? I think everybody would like to know that. Like, from what everybody's saying inside of their Discord, all the people that like raised that 300 grand to like essentially bail Burl Core out, give them a loan at a certain APR, and Burl Core hasn't paid any of that loan back, or they've paid back some of the people, but they haven't really paid back that loan or the interest on it. And they were supposed to be getting paid like a long time ago, right? What happened to those private funds, right? No one's getting paid back on it. Nobody's getting interest on it. Okay. Does Burl have funds to process refunds? Well, my guess is if you haven't been paid back your money on the private fund that happened like 6 months ago, they definitely don't have money to process the millions of dollars in refunds that their people are filing for. Then when will refunds commence? Well, my guess is refunds probably aren't going to commence. This is all my answers. These are all my personal bias and speculation and opinion. Refunds aren't going to commence anytime soon until they actually get some money in from a private investor. And then they say, when will we receive a countersigned agreement? Because they were supposed to have all the countersigned agreements back to everybody signed and ready to go by the 10th. Well, it's the 20th, bruh. These guys can't hit a timeline. Like, dude, you could pay these guys to hit a timeline and they still wouldn't hit it. Somehow they mess up every timeline. And everybody's like, well, let's say that their team's like, oh, we're just bogged down. We have over 600 requests. Yeah, dude, I bet you do. Here's the thing, though. This is coming from the guy that's done this, right? I've done 2 different refunds at the same time. Like I did buybacks for 2 separate companies at the same time. Both of them had over 1,000 people involved in it. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. Whenever somebody filed their thingy, all I did was look their wallet address up and go to the blockchain transaction to figure out how much they paid for it. That's all Burl Core has to do is go. And I mean, dude, there was people that had like, there were people that would have like 20 different ones and they would have bought and sold all of these different ones. And like, you got to find all of these transactions. Tell me how I did that by myself with zero team. There's zero team for Wolfer. There was zero team. And guess what? I was already doing it for Wolfer, so I did it for Prescient. So tell me how Drew Wolfer by himself did it for two companies, Wolfer and Prescient, with about the same amount of investors across both of those companies, 1,000+ people. Tell me how I did it. And then I got the refunds out to everybody within 5 days. Oh, Sway? In my Kanye voice. How did Drew Wolfer do that? But you guys have this team, right, that's supposed to be doing this. You can't get some countersigned agreements back to people. The agreements are already done. All you have to do is countersign it. The math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. So my point is that, like, dude, let's be real. They want people out, okay? It looks like, to me, in my opinion, Phil wants people out of this, okay? So he's very motivated to get you out. And if there was a way to get you out now, trust and believe you would be out. He would be signing those agreements at 2 a.m. just to get you out. He doesn't want most of us here. He wants to run his own gold thing by himself. It's very clear, right? That's what I'm seeing. That's my opinion on it. You can have your opinion however you want. But my point is they've never hit a timeline. From day one, they've never hit a timeline. They didn't get the mine operational. Then they took the X amount of time off because blah, blah, blah. It's the rainy season. Oh, now it's a 14-year holiday in Uganda that's no one's ever heard of, and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, these are exaggerations, but you get where I'm going with it. Then, they were supposed to have the refunds out by, wasn't it like July 31st? Everyone was supposed to be like refunded, right? End of July. That didn't happen. Then they were supposed to have the countersigned agreements to you by the 10th. And actually it was supposed to be by the end of August, I think at first. And then it was the 10th of September. Then they said, now they don't even care. They're not even giving a date. And then you've got these two Goombas inside of their Discord. They're supposed to be the moderators, supposed to be helping everybody out. And then you ask them a question. And they're like, great question, sir. Let me go and get that answer and I will come back to you with a firm answer. Then what are you here for? Like, I don't know, man. Glorified middlemen, glorified VAs, for all we know, they are Filipino VAs, right? Getting paid $3 an hour. We don't know. We don't know who they are. So, and then they go radio silent for like 10 days at a time. It's wild concept, man. You got like $15 million worth of people's money and you're like, I don't know, man. It's not a great situation for people to be in. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, I know it's frustrating for people. It's frustrating for me too. It's frustrating for everybody. And we're pulling for you, Burl. We're pulling for you, Philly boy. We hope that you really get this done, that you pull this thing off. So that's really the update on Burl Core, man. There is no update. The update is, let me get back to you with an answer on this. That's it. Hurry up and wait. We're just sitting here, man. So I'll let you know if I hear anything. With that being said, I hope everybody has a good hashtag Friday Pie Day with their beautiful family. I'm sorry for the theatrics. I'm sorry for the jokes. I think in these types of times when you realize that you have absolutely nothing else that you can do, you have your future is in the hands of people that have consistently done absolutely horrible at delivering anything of substance or value, that you just kind of got to laugh and joke around, man. And, with that being said, everybody have a good hashtag Friday Pie Day with your beautiful families. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to finish everything I got. If you want to show up to the Prescient stream starting in literally 30 minutes. If you want to show up to ATB, support your boy, starts in 1 hour and 30 minutes. And I will see you in the next stream. And I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Peace.